so what was Heaven Grand and Amber Orbit about?
Okay, it was about I was a ticket taker. I was Heaven Grand in Amber Orbit, and Jackie Curtis wrote it on the train to South Bend, Indiana, where we were going. The whole company was going for the Pornography and Censorship Conference, and on the train, Jackie Curtis wrote Heaven Grand in Amber Orbit. And he had a racing form and two horses. One was named Heaven Grand, and the other horse was named Amber Orbit. And all the other names in the play was Rumbeline Sam, uh, Lord Pass the Hat. They were all horses in the race on that day.
And you were raped?
No, during in Heaven Grand was being raped by Rumbeline Sam, who was the barker at the circus. We were in it was like a sideshow. It was really a sideshow, and he was the circus barker, and he was raping me, and he was singing "Heaven, I'm in heaven" as he was raping me.
Why?
Because he was in me. Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I get it. Can you say that line again? I think I was loud. Say that line again.
Because he was in me. Get it?
Okay. And why do you think back then you could make a play where someone was getting raped and it'd be okay?
Anything went. Anything goes. You could do anything. You could do anything because it was like anything. It was off Broadway, and that's where we got away with everything. There was nothing that was like sacrosanct. You could say whatever you wanted. We had a 12-foot penis hooked up to the back, the faucet in the back of the dressing room, and it was hooked up to the penis, and the penis came at the end of this Kama Sutra ballet and came over the audience, but it just came water, and the audience, it was a heat wave, and the air conditioning broke, and the audience went, ah, they loved it. But anyway, yeah, and you could do anything. I remember in Europe, I didn't go to Europe. I was already in Europe with my boyfriend at the time, Robert, and we were making a movie, or we were editing a movie, and they went to Europe, and Ellen Stewart came, and she was hooking up the penis to spray over the audience, and they came and they arrested her and confiscated the dick, the 12-foot dick, which was made out of styrofoam, I think.
Okay, well, let me just pull up my things. I think we might actually cut Tony out of this.
Oh, well.
Yeah, well. So you moved to New York, and immediately, who was the first person at the? Let me get closer. So when you moved to New York, who was the first person you met in the Theater of the Ridiculous in that world?
Okay, Sarah Screech was one of the firewomen in Conquest of the Universe, and right?
Yeah, no, back up a little bit.
Okay, but you told me to get close.
Sorry.
Sarah Screech was playing a firewoman, which was like the chorus in Conquest of the Universe, and she's invited me to come to a rehearsal. She knew I was an actress, or I studied acting in college, and I was just out of college, and she said, or I really never finished college. I did like a half a year. And she said, want to come with me to rehearsal? I'm in a play that I'm doing with the Playhouse The Ridiculous. I said, yeah, sure. So I went to the rehearsal at John Vaccaro's loft on Great Jones Street. And it was this big, unfinished loft. It was like fabulous. It was huge. And John saw me, took one look at me, and he said, yeah, get on the stage. He put me right in the play. And I played the firewoman in the next to Sarah Screech, and we were firewomen. And I thought one day, I used to, because I'm an actress, and I thought the method, and I thought one day I'm going to be the conqueror's wife. Something's going to happen to her, and I'm going to be his new wife. And I thought to myself, that's how I, did my part. And So Beverly Grant was playing the Conqueror's wife, and she twisted her ankle and broke her ankle. And they came to me, Ondine and Louis Walden came to my apartment and said, "You're going on tonight as Alice, the Conqueror's wife, Queen of the Universe." So I did it. I went on that night.
Donate your hands.
With no rehearsal. Sorry.
It's okay. I know you're feeling passionate.
Yes.
Just writing the notes down now.
Yeah, so I went on that night as Alice.
Can you say the story about when you were rolling around in glass or Hollywood lawn was?
No, that was Penny Arcade.
Oh no, that was Penny Arcade in it.
Yeah, she used to roll around.
No, I thought there was one time.
John used to say, the only thing you're good for is rolling around and getting glass in your tits.
But I thought you said one time you were somewhere in like Candy Darling or Hollywood lawn was rolling on the floor or putting on this glitter, and John said that's.
Oh no, that was glitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was Hollywood lawn. John used to order glitter by the barrel. He was the first person in the world to use glitter, and he would order it by the barrel. And Holly would cover herself in baby oil and roll around and cover her whole body in glitter, which, I mean, it never came off. The glitter, I mean, I would wake up with glitter on my sheets forever. For even months after the play was over, the glitter would stay on me. It was like glitter time.
Glitter time. Okay, hold on, let me just write this down.
Oh, I know. So John runs backstage one day and says, "Okay, everybody listen to me. You can't use the red glitter. Don't use the red glitter." And I was putting the red glitter on my lips. I was using it on my lips every night. I was packing like thick red glitter on my lips, and I would crunch on it. I would hear this crunching noise. And we said to John, "Why can't we use the red glitter?" He said, "It's made out of glass."
Okay, I know you're getting excited, but you gotta scoot back a little bit.
Right. Well, John always shouted a lot. He said, "Don't use the right."
Okay,
So
well, not that
that
far. Not
Okay.
that far. Like where you were, but you're just like screaming into the mic.
I know.
Look at the fucking bars.
Oh my God.
They're like can't even fit on the screen.
But that's John. That's how John spoke to people.
That's
He
all
would
good.
scream all the time.
So okay, can you just do you think someone could be the same style director that he was now with all the safe work laws and anti-harassment laws and things like that?
In a word, no. I don't think that could happen anymore.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not
closer
free.
now.
We're not free. We're not free anymore. You know, we can't say, we have to be politically correct. And nothing John did was politically correct. Nothing.
So what's the greatest lesson someone can get from the theater, the ridiculous, the genre?
It was the Playhouse, the ridiculous.
No, this is about the
The whole genre.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That anything, you just could do anything. You could do anything in the world, and nobody, instead of being shocked, people would love you.
Can you talk about some of the negative audience reactions?
Oh well, you know, I I did the Crow in the Moke Eater, and I had to eat a piece of raw liver, and sometimes it was bad, and people in the audience used to. I mean, the Moke Eater was so disturbing that people in the audience used to throw up. Literally. Yeah, it was cruel. I mean, we eviscerated this guy who wanders into town. That was the Moke Eater. It's about this guy, this salesman, this traveling salesman, wandered into this town with these savage creatures, and we wind up eviscerating him. We eat him, his bowels out. You know, we just kill him that way.
And when did you realize that this was something that When did you realize that there would be a 26-year-old in your apartment asking you questions like this? Did you realize you were onto something when you were younger?
Oh yeah, I loved doing this theater almost immediately. I knew this was built, this was made for me. It was like I had dreamt of this my whole life, and I walked into the John's loft and never looked back. And I was always like that. And then years went by, and people, it just kind of petered out, you know. And then people got more and more like John didn't get the audiences that he used to get. He used to get immediately people would show up at La Mama to see what is Vaccaro's next play going to be, because he was so shocking and innovative, and just nobody had ever seen this kind of theater before. And eventually it just kind of petered out. The audiences, he didn't work for his audiences. And I tried to explain to him in Pineapple Face. That was, I think, the last Vaccaro play I did, where I played Noriega. It was built around Noriega, and that's who they called Pineapple Face, because he had terrible skin. And anyway, I played Noriega's prostitute mistress, and I had these big, huge tits and a big ass I put on. But anyway, people really didn't come like they used to come. You know, they weren't packing the house. So we tried to explain to John, you have to work for it. You have to, promote it. But yeah, he'd just get pissed off. He'd say, these fuckers, fuck them all. And he just thought, I'll give up. He gave up. He just gave up on the theater. He would piss him off.
Did the play? I should really be right next to you. I don't know why I'm not. So, did he evolve the style of the plays? Did he evolve with the times, or did he always kind of maintain?
He sometimes was more political than others. He did Indira Gandhi's Daring Device or something, I think it was called. I wasn't in that, but sometimes he was more political, and then other times it was more of like a social satire. But he would always just do anything to shock people. He loved to just, he would come backstage and in the Moke Eater, he'd say, I want you to tear him up. I want you to kill him, really. And he'd work the little monsters, he'd work them up. He'd just get them all vile and vicious. They were like, but yeah, he I don't know. He was very passionate.
And can you talk about some of the Ludlam plays you saw and how his style differentiated from
Differentiated?
Yeah, that too. From John, but also, did you ever see him directing as well?
Charles, I never did a Charles play because, I think that John considered me his property, and I was the star of the playhouse. I was the ingenue, the star ingenue, and Gordon was the male ingenue. And we just were happy to do John's plays, and I think he would have been pissed off if we did Charles plays.
But did you?
I saw Charles plays, and I loved them. They were kind of campy. They weren't shocking. They were just campy. But they were very well done. He was great at what he did. It was just different.
Did you see his version of Conquest of the Universe?
No, I didn't get to, because I was doing Conquest and he was doing When Queens Collide at the same time. We went to the Obies and we had one table for the Playhouse the Ridiculous and another table with the whole Ridiculous Theatrical Company. And when they got their award, we went boo, and they went yay. And we got our award, we went yay, and they went boo. It was very juvenile.
So there was communication between the two groups.
Yeah.
You guys were friends?
Yeah, some of us were friends. Yeah, I mean, we didn't. It was mostly the contentiousness was between John and Charles, and mostly coming from John. It's a good thing that he's not alive anymore because he would get pissed off at this interview.
We're definitely putting that in there.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Why did he carry it for the rest of his life?
You know, I never could figure that out. He held on to it like a dog with a bone. He never let it go. And you know, he turned against Ellen Stewart, which I never could figure out. He just turned his rage towards her.
Who's Ellen Stewart?
Ellen Stewart was the head of La Mama.
What's
she was
La
the
Mama?
she
Just set it up
started
really quick.
she started Cafe La Mama. Joe Chino killed himself, and she took all his audiences and whatever he was doing. She opened La Mama to extend that, to keep it going.
But explain to an 18-year-old hearing this in South Korea, what is La Mama? What was
La Mama was the theater, the downtown, like anything goes theater. I mean, like, it was shocking, it was disturbing, it was like innovative, it was amazing. It was like an acid trip. It was like,
Get some water. Do you need some? You sound a little hoarse.
oh, I have some in my get me that. Oh no, it's okay. In that black bag on the bottom, underneath the bag with the clothes, underneath, yeah, in that black bag. Yeah, that thing. Oh, thanks.
Okay, can you explain like downtown at this time?
Downtown at the time of the 70s,
Yeah.
it was fabulous. It was like a circus. It was like, it was just free. Everything was very free. It was like the essence of freedom. You could walk down like that what's the 8th Street called over there? St. Mark's Place, right. Everybody used to walk down, like, in different stages of nudity with different, like, wild outfits on and glitter, and it was amazing. It was like the circus, like psychedelic circus.
Did you all ever get in trouble?
Well, when they went to Europe,
But did you?
I never did. No.
And what did-
People used to wait for me in the lobby, and when I came out of the lobby, they'd say, "You see, I told you she was a man." They couldn't figure out whether I was a man or a woman. I was tempted to show them my vagina.
Wait, so you're a woman?
Yes, I'm a woman. I am a woman. Hear me roar.
Okay. I'm covered in your fucking cat hair, Ruby.
I'm sorry. The whole apartment is covered in cat hair. Yeah. Yeah, it was a total different time. It was real, it was true freedom, which we don't have anymore. Ironically, the very people who raised this generation, I don't know what they taught them about freedom.
Okay, this is not going in there.
Yeah. But
Maybe you can explain the kind of freedom that our generation needs that can learn from you.
it's hard to explain that. It's like, think of anything you want to do that would shock your parents. That's freedom.
Like getting raped.
No, nothing violent.
Oh wait, sorry. I meant in the play.
Oh, like acting out rape. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we do you couldn't have a 10-foot dick hanging over the stage and coming over the audience. You couldn't do that. You couldn't have, a thalidomide baby. Come on. We had a song called Thalidomide Baby Lives in Formaldehyde, Swims in Formaldehyde. Where do the four winds blow? Thalidomide, thalidomide. She's the Esther Williams of the sideshow. Thalidomide, You're never going to have that. Never.
Why do you think there was less overt gayness in Vaccaro's work?
Less overt gayness?
Is that true or no?
No,
Okay,
we
okay.
were as overt as you could get.
Okay, so but was
People were like, we didn't care whether you were gay or straight.
Was Ludlum's work safer and more accessible?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you talk about some of his plays? Any idea or no?
I saw one. I saw Irma Vep. And he did a lot of costume changes. I loved the way Charles did costume change. He would come back as a different character, and he had, I don't know, he really was. He was very talented his acting was fabulous. John would get on the stage and he'd start directing you in the middle of the play when he was on the stage as a character. He played Ninga Flinga Dung. She was an armless, legless woman. You couldn't do that. In a million years, you couldn't do that nowadays. But he would run over. He would run over on his knees. He would do it all on his knees, and he would run over to where you were on the stage and just, no, you're in the wrong place. Get over there. Get over there. And it was distracting because you were trying to he would love it when people improvised. Like I remember one scene in Conquest, Ondine saw an old boyfriend in the back in the middle of the audience, and he was playing the Queen of Mars. I'm pretty sure that was his part, and he jumped off the stage and ran into the audience. He says, "I told you never to come here. I told you never to come here." It was in the middle of the play. He ripped a big hunk of the guy's hair out of his head. He ripped it out of his head and he held it up to the audience and he went, You see what he made me do? And the audience applauded. They thought it was part of the play.
Didn't he push you down the stairs one time?
No, that was John.
Oh, yeah. This was Ludlum?
No, this was Ondine.
Oh, Ondine did this to someone?
Ondine did this to someone.
Oh, okay.
He played the Queen of Mars. Ondine was a famous, he was the Warhol superstar. He was the original, he was in the Chelsea Girls. He was the Pope Ondine he played.
Can you talk about how Warhol got involved? The Warhol scene got involved?
Okay,
Warhol himself?
Because when Charles and John split up, John said, "Oh well, I'll get even with Charles," and he got in touch with all of the Warhol superstars like Taylor Mead, Ultraviolet, Louis Walden, Ondine, Pope Ondine, and he put them in the play to get even with Charles. We were a smash hit. Conquest it played at the Bowery Lane Theater, I think for a month. I think a few months it played.
What did you do for money?
I think he paid us enough to live on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then when we had the CETA program during Carter's administration, they actually paid us a salary. We worked for the government, so that was not all that wonderful. But
what'd you do? Just act?
Well, yeah, we acted. We did it. We did. It was a little straight for what we were doing, but.
Wait, so what? Can you explain that program?
The CETA program. It stood for. I'm not sure, CETA, but they paid actors to do off Broadway. They actually paid us. But we, he gave us enough money to live on, He wanted to keep us to where we didn't have to worry about that. But my parents were helping me, too. I was lucky.
I'm so itchy from all your cat hair.
I know. I'm sorry.
I am so itchy.
I'm sorry. You were on the floor. That's where all the cat hair is.
And all the sweat too is just like
It's
glue.
sticking to it. I know.
It's just glue. Okay.
Oh well.
So how did the
I
play?
have to eat my dinner, so I have to.
Yeah, 2 more questions.
Yeah.
How did the Playhouse? What did you learn from your time in the Playhouse?
Oh my God. It taught me everything. I mean, it's, I learned how to think on my feet, how to improvise. It was invaluable theater. You can't beat having experience on the stage to teach you how to act. You can't beat that. It was real. We had real audiences in a real theater with real lines. I remember when the Cockettes came to New York, we were like, everybody was like...
Okay, this is not going in there. We have an episode on the Cockettes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then what can a gay elder, you understand the concept of a gay elder? Like a gay mentor learn from the Playhouse?
Well, the gay mentors should have been there.
Well, okay, say they're in Indiana. We're not going to cut this part out. So,
okay.
like, say there's an 80-year-old man listening to this.
Right.
And he wants to help someone younger. What would this whole...
The sad part is we didn't get most of it on video because we didn't have video.
No, but from the spirit that we're
conveying.
conveying.
The spirit. Just circus. The circus.
Okay.
It's like, anything... Like, no holds barred.
And what do you think I could learn from the...
You've already learned just from knowing
pretend
me.
like I don't. What would you want me to learn from the genre theater of the ridiculous?
What do you mean learn?
Learn from.
Yeah. I mean, just...
It's your big chance.
Hang
Say
around.
something heavy.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one because I've thought about starting a class and teaching people about comic theater and that kind of style of acting because I remember telling this little girl next door whose mother she's my neighbor and she came over and she said, "Listen, I'm having a hard time." She said, Irena has a part in this play, and she has stage fright. I think it was Irena or her sister. I'm not sure. And she has stage fright, and she has to go on tonight. So could you talk to her? And I said, sure. And I went over. She came over, and I said, listen. I said, no matter what you do, no matter how you screw up, there's nothing that would scare people away from loving you. They are going to love you no matter what you do. And that's the way I feel about the theater,
There you go. That was heavy. Let me just make sure I don't have any more. I think we're good. Yeah, that pretty much answered everything. Can you just tell the story about John throwing you down the stairs or not? We're done.
No, I don't.
You don't want that on tape?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Tony didn't want to talk about fucking David Bowie. So.